my channel. This sounds a little dramatic, but I have a confession to make. I have been keeping a secret for a little over a year now, and the secret is I work out. Now, there is a little bit more to the secret than that. I've hinted at working out on my Instagram many times before, but in order to give proper context, we gotta rewind to July 28th, 2024. For years now, I've seen a lot of friends do those Run Disney races, and I always thought they looked so fun. When I was a teenager, I always thought to myself, one day I want to run one of those races. It looks so fun. And 4 years ago, I became disabled, so running became really difficult. But I was sitting on the couch and I saw pictures of my friends running these races, and I saw new announcements for races coming up, and I was like, wow, it'd be really fun to do one of those. And then all of a sudden, I had this thought where I thought to myself, if my disability is not going to get better, then I'm gonna have a lot of fun while I get worse. And that night, I ordered new knee braces, new ankle braces, and got to work on creating an exercise plan. At that point, I'd been working with physical therapists on and off for many, many years for multiple types of chronic pain. And I've also been working with a close friend of mine for strength training. So in order for this plan to work, I knew I needed something that involved strength training to make my joints dislocate less, and I also needed endurance training to go for longer distances. And on July 29th, 2024, I got to work. Ever since my hypermobility diagnosis, everyone has said the same thing. Get into cycling. So I decided that this training regimen was going to be centered around cycling and walking. At first I tried running with my crutches, and I realized that wasn't a good plan, because my crutches rely more on arm strength, and my arms, they weren't quite strong enough. So instead I tried running with my rollator, and that was the perfect decision. I had this empty notebook lying around, I covered it in stickers, and every day I've kept track of how many miles I have walked and biked every single day. I tried my best to work out 5 to 7 times per week, but I'm only human. There are some weeks where I got sick or injured or was on vacation. But for the most part, I stuck to it. And I did not really tell anyone about this. I told maybe 2 friends and I told my sister. But I didn't tell other family members, I didn't tell social media, I didn't really talk about it. Because as a disabled person who has a dynamic disability, where some days symptoms feel better than others, I didn't want people thinking that I was cured. But I also didn't want a lot of people to know about it in case my disability did get in the way and I failed. And I also didn't want people to know in case I, gave up or forgot for other reasons. But as time went on, I got a little bit more comfortable sharing a few more details here and there. But I still kept it secret from social media. But let it be known that this past year, I celebrated so many small victories, and so many large victories. I started my training with just, power walking, eventually moving up to a jog. I would say I'm sort of capped at jogging. I can't run very fast. I have a knee deformity on top of my hypermobility spectrum disorder, but I'm able to go so much faster than I could a year ago. Currently, my average pace is around 16 and a half minutes per mile, something like that. And considering when I started this, my average pace per mile was about 22 minutes, that's an improvement. Moving on from the backstory, it's time to move a little bit closer to the present. My ultimate goal was to be able to run a 5K so I could run it in the Disney parks. Run Disney also hosts virtual events. So in April 2025, I decided I was going to sign up for one of those virtual events to test my limits and see how things were going. I was going to sign up for just the Pirates of the Caribbean 5K, but it sold out. So instead, I committed to the whole Happily Ever After challenge. The Happily Ever After challenge was 3 5Ks. The Pirates of the Caribbean 5K, the Jungle Cruise 5K, and the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad 5K. At that point, I hadn't even run a whole 5K yet, but I wanted to see how it would go. So I signed up for the race. The race wouldn't start until June 2025, so in the meantime, I kept training. On June 2nd, 2025, I decided that was the perfect day to get up and try running my first 5K. And I will let myself from that day take over because I filmed the process. Ignore how this eye looks, I just stabbed it with a mascara wand. But good morning! It is currently 10:25 in the morning. And I am off to go run my first ever 5K. Well, not my first ever 5K, but my first 5K since becoming disabled. I have not yet run a full 5K, but I do know that I can run about 2 miles in 45 minutes. I've been training very, very hard over the past year. Before I forget, I'm gonna put on sunscreen. Sunscreen's important. Okay, fit check. We've got the Today is Leg Day Ariel shirt and the purple shorts. It goes hard. If I had something Pirates of the Caribbean, I would have worn that in the spirit of this, but I don't have anything Pirates of the Caribbean, so I'm going with a Little Mermaid. Okay, I'm ready to go. I've got water, I've got earbuds. I'm not really gonna be filming a lot of the run itself because I'm gonna be running this around my neighborhood and I don't want y'all to see where I live. But I will post the results. Let's go, race number 1. First mile done. It's been a little under 17 minutes. Let's go. Going uphill is so difficult because on top of my joints already sucking, my rollator is 18 pounds. So I'm pushing like an 18-pound medical device up every single hill. My leg muscles are gonna look so good. I'm 2.5 miles in. I'm almost done. This is amazing. Y'all, I did it. I completed my 5K in less than an hour. I did it in 53 minutes and 42 seconds. I really didn't think this would be possible. And yes, I'm crying because right as I finished it, the last chorus of Famous Last Words by My Chemical Romance played, and if you know, you know. And with that, I finished my first race. Now, since this was a virtual race, I had a lot of time to complete all 3 races, but I was so excited to run them that I just wanted to run them all as soon as possible. But there was one teeny tiny problem. I live in Michigan, and we've had a lot of air pollution from Canadian wildfire season, and I'm asthmatic. But luckily for me, I have family in Florida, and they always want me to visit. So for race number 2, I flew to Florida. And I will once again let me from the past take over because I filmed it. Okay, today is June 14th, and I'm getting ready for my second of the Disney 5Ks. Here we go. I'm sweating my ass off. Second mile officially down, feeling good. I unfortunately have to go a little bit slow here because I did once lose a rollator wheel on this boardwalk. We're at 2.5 miles. We're in the home stretch. I officially made it to 3.1 miles. I completed it in 53 minutes and 26 seconds, which I think means I shaved 1 minute off my record. I'm gonna go drink a lot of Gatorade now. It was hot as hell out here. Okay, I was wrong. I only shaved like 20 seconds off my time, but you know what? A win is a win. So at one point during the run, I had to pick up my rollator to cross through some grass to get around some people because I don't know if you know this, rollators don't really handle grass very well. So I literally just like picked up my 18-pound rollator, like slung it over my shoulder, ran to get to the next part of the sidewalk, and then put it down. And this woman who saw me running by just went, oh, wow, you're so strong. That was a confidence boost I didn't know I needed. That race ended up being my personal record. And with that, race number 2 is completed. At this point, I was feeling absolutely on top of the world. This arguably might be the best physical shape I've been in my entire life. I thought nothing could stop me. Until I remembered that I'm chronically ill. I have endometriosis, which is one of the top 20 most painful conditions known to man. And at the end of June, it decided to get really, really bad out of nowhere. I spent a week pretty much unable to move. And the thing with endometriosis is that bed rotting kind of helps me feel better, but the thing with hypermobility spectrum disorder is that bed rotting makes me feel so much worse. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really know what the third race would look like, or when I'd be able to run it. And I knew I had a lot of time, but I just really wanted to run. I didn't really think this would happen, but I really fell in love with running. And as I mentioned with previous videos, I've been in a prolonged endometriosis flare since December 2024. It's been pretty brutal. I've been in nonstop pain. Some days been better than others, but the pain has been nonstop. But luckily, there was a day where the symptoms were pretty mild and the weather was perfect for running. So it was time to do race number 3. Take it away, me from the past. Well, I told myself last night that if I woke up before my alarm and the weather was nice, I was going to do my final run today. And I woke up before my alarm and the weather's nice, so I'm going to go for my final run today. Obviously, it's not my actual final run, it's just my final run for this challenge. I've already got sunscreen on and just enough makeup that I won't look totally like a zombie. If you think that putting makeup on to go for a run is extreme, I just want you to know that when I run an in-person race, I will definitely be wearing face glitter. I'll be wearing so much more makeup than this. I came here to have fun, I came here to make friends, I came here to slay. I forgot that the ground in Florida is flatter, so it is so much harder to go uphill with an 18-pound rollator. I'm not really looking to beat any records today. I'm just happy to be moving. First mile down, I did shave a minute off my average time, so that's something. There have been a lot of storms this week, so my joints are a little bit angry, which means I kind of have to walk this one. And is there anything wrong with that? No, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that ever. I'm 1.5 miles in. That means I'm like halfway there. Oh my gosh, the uphill is killing me. It's been 35 minutes, and I'm officially 2 miles in. We're in the home stretch, baby. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna beat my time. Okay. I ended up 53:34, which means I did not beat my time, but it's only 10 seconds off my last time, which means I did pretty dang good. And with that, I completed race number 3. So after a month of running 5Ks each weekend, I completed the Happily Ever After Challenge. As I mentioned before, I ran these races to test my limits and see how my progress is going. And I proved myself that I can run a 5K, and I can run them in less than an hour. So what does that mean? Because to me, it sounds like it's time to move up a level. It's time to sign up for a race in real life. And now it's time for another little secret. I'm actually signed up to run a race in real life. I'm going to be running a 5K during the Disney Princess Marathon weekend in February 2026, and I need your help. I'm going to be running on behalf of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and I need to raise $500 or more before that day comes. I'm going to include a link down below if you're interested in donating, and I'm also going to add some incentives. And that means there will be items available for purchase to donate to the cause. I'm going to have bracelets, but there will also be special little frog plushies I'm making for the occasion. And I'm also going to set up milestone goals so we can celebrate each milestone together. I think this is a very important cause. I've been very open about my mental health struggles, and I've also been very open about how my disability has impacted my mental health. And as I've learned this past year, running has helped my mental health so much. So I really hope that you'll keep supporting me on this journey and follow along during the process. Thank you so much for watching. It was so exciting to finally share this with you. If you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe so you can see more of my shenanigans, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!